So today I'm going to catch up with assistant greyhound trainer Terry Dartnall. He is of course assistant to his son Matt, who took over his licence a good few years ago now. You won't see better turned out greyhounds at any track than the Dartnalls. So today I've come to pick Terry's brains and find out exactly what it takes to do a dog properly.
I suppose one of the important things is feeding is very important in our book. I mean, we say 85% of our success stems from the feeding, but routine, they need to have routine. See, each dog here is fed individually. So these bowls are being laid out according to the kennels. Porridge, milk is heating up nicely. Some dogs need a bit more weight on them, so you just give them a little bit more. And some bitches out of season, they're just a little bit podgy, so like myself, so we give them a little bit less. This is dicalcium phosphate. Vicky will put some of that in each bowl.
What does that do?
It's great for strengthening the bones. It's calcium, isn't it, basically?
What's next then?
That's honey going in there.
What does honey do?
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, doesn't it? You know?
So bananas going in as well, they're good for...
Yeah, there's just some pups here that want fattening up, so. Got potassium in bananas. If they're good enough for the tennis players, they're good enough for the dogs, aren't they? Sardines. Not all the dogs get sardines.
What dogs get sardines then?
Yeah, the likes of Rising Brandy, he likes a sardine. Not a whole one, just a half one. That's him there. That's just tonight's veg for them. The tomatoes and cooking apples will go in the micro later, and the other stuff will go in a pot to make the gravy up with the oxos. Traditional.
So what's happening here, Terry? Hot milk going in?
Hot.
Hot milk.
Very hot. So the bowls are quite cold, so you never get a problem with it being too hot, you know what I mean? The hot milk just melts the honey, just so. So you get a nice bit of breakfast.
It's an enjoyable part of the job though, isn't it, feeding them?
It's 85%. The car won't go without petrol. Do you understand? The car will not go without petrol. So you've got to put it in them, and with a bit of luck, when you put it in them, you'll take it out of them, but it's not always so. Now this bitch I'm going to feed here, she's been here a long time, she's an old brood bitch, but she won't eat this breakfast unless I put a little bit of meat on the top.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's just finicky.
So you get to know all their little ways?
And I know now that this dog in here, now he's telling me now, it's my turn. Have you hear him barking in here? It was his turn, so this is his grub. Hear him? He knows. He knows the time. They know the time. Some dogs you're trying to get them fired up. Like a dog that's racing wants a bit of raw meat. The dog that's not racing, not so much raw meat. Resting dogs, they don't want too much meat.
So what else goes in the dinner? Raw, cooked meat, what else?
The vegetables and the gravy, bit of Australian, and he uses a bit of this, but he also uses this stuff, which is salmon and rice. That's a salmon and rice biscuit. That will soak, and then the meat that goes on top of it. He'll do a rice feed a couple of days. One day a week he'll do a rice feed, so they get a bit of variety.
What's that? Oh, bones.
Oh yeah, but you cook them up and salt them in the oven in there.
Right.
And you'll see a dog eat them when they're salted.
How often do they get one of those then?
Right? Well, they need one.
For teeth or for...
Yeah, for the teeth, yeah. And a treat, bit of both really. This is an important part of it. This water is red hot, so it sterilises the bowls. So every morning and every night these bowls get sterilised. You can't put your hand in this, you have to keep your hand out of it somewhat hot.
Normally the one who does the cooking doesn't have to do the washing up.
Hey, don't work like that here.
You said 85% is the food then. What makes up the other 15%?
Well, they've got to be kept in a healthy environment. They've got to be kept in a clean kennel. They've got to be out and about most days. I mean, our dogs, every dog gets between 2 and 3 miles a day every day.
So for you, really important that they're out and about walking.
Most important, they'll see a bird, they might see a fox, they might see a deer, they might see whatever. They need to see what's going on. You know, I've seen some of these walking machines. I don't see that's the right way forward.
You've also got use of a swimming pool here, obviously in the summer, and a gallop.
Yeah.
So how do you decipher when to gallop, when to swim?
We gallop. We probably get the dog right. We might gallop in 2 or 3 times a week. We've got a 300 metre gallop. We can bring it back and go 200 metres. We can go 100 metres, but You know, we're quite happy. Some dogs don't need to be galloped. Some dogs, when they're race fit, they're quite happy to have a week off and not, you know, they're running once a week. Some dogs, they might need a gallop. They're individual, same as people. They're all individual.
And win or lose, when I see your dogs at the track, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me, they look in brilliant condition, everything about them. How important is that to you when you go racing?
Well,
Your dogs are well turned
It's
out.
very important that you keep the tradition up. You know, keep the important thing to us is the strike rate. And people misconstrue. Fat's a very important content of a grounds diet. And that comes out in their coats. And they'll say, oh, look at that dog's coat shine, you must have polished. It's not what you're doing to them, it's what you're giving them. And we use pearl barley. Pearl barley we put in the soup. Well, the pearl barley just helps them, keeps them going and keeps their waterworks right, you know.
How important is sort of grooming and teeth cleaning as a part of
Yeah,
training?
that's important, yeah. It's having a pride to take a dog to a track and that dog's as you want it to be. Some dogs don't need grooming as much as that. Once a dog's groomed up and he's well, you just put a leather over them or a brush over them and they're fine. But the ones that need grooming, the ones that come in, that, you know, when you get a dog that's coated, his coat will come away naturally, but you just keep one of those ones that the ones that are looking rough, and they obviously need a bit more grooming. But when you get up to open class and derby dogs, they're every day. You've got to be at them every day. Their muscles have got to be right, their coat's got to be right, their teeth have got to be right, their inside's got to be right. So we worm quite a bit. Very important, they've got to be clean inside and outside, and mentally right as well. Okay, so this bitch is a bitch called Come On You Bees. We check them over 3 or 4 days after they've run because sometimes there's injuries will come out better 2 or 3 days afterwards, in my opinion. We start at the front. She's a nice calm bitch. Just get her confidence to start with.
We've seen you check a dog over as well. You do all that yourself.
Yeah.
You know when a dog's got a problem and you treat it here as well.
I can take it to certain vets and they wouldn't find what you can find. At the end of the day, it's economical for me to check them out and make sure where we are, or Matt will check them out. And if you find a little niggle, then treat it. But the majority of injuries, it's resting. And we go down her spine.
So what are you looking for? Any reaction from her?
Just any reaction, yeah, any nerve that might be trapped or whatever. She'll soon let you know if there's a problem there. Right down her spine. And that's fine. There we go. Gracious muscles, you've got to try and catch them before they drop. If you've got a slight sign of any pain in them, it's always best to rest them a bit longer than you should. Because once our muscle drops, it's a devil's own job.
How beneficial do you think that is, knowing your dog?
Well, if you see your dog every day, you'll know that dog's mannerisms. You'll know whether yes, he's right, I know he's wrong. They can still eat their dinner every day and eat their breakfast every day and not be quite right. And if you know that dog wants to bounce out and he'll be having a skip and a jump here, that's his way. Another dog won't be like that, just be quiet. They're all different. Every single dog is different, whichever way you want to look at it. You could put 2 dogs in a paddock. One tries to open the gate. I've seen a dog go out the gate, open the gate, go out the gate, and the other dog will just stay in the paddock and just say, well, I'm not going to be naughty, I'll stay. And that's how they are. They're all different. They are all different, Julia, whichever way you want to look at it.
Does it make you happy knowing that they're happy out there?
Yeah, of course it does. But I'm always trying to make them happier. There's always something to thinking, well, what can we do just to... Because that could cost you a fortune. Just that much, short head.